You got John Deere equipment all over here, don't you?
Yes, sir, I do.
So can I ask you a question? Have you ever heard of Tractor Time with Tim?
Yes.
I was hoping you'd say no, you'd never heard of him, Max. Let's move on to the seat. This is a seat out of a 2003 John Deere tractor. What's happened here is the fabric has delaminated from the foam. So we're gonna put some new fabric on this foam and we'll see how it comes out. We'll start with the easy part, and that's just ripping off the old fabric. Look at that, still a lot of dirt. It seems like maybe it was only glued around the edge, but I know that's not true. All this glue, it's just completely gone. I know it had to be glued down here to this foam. This is the backrest, and yes, I'm gonna have to take it back outside and blow it off again. Whew. That's farming for you right there. This is a little bit of old foam, this dark looking stuff that's kind of left over probably from the fabric. It was probably glued to the fabric and then glued to this. And I want it gone, so I'll show you. I'm gonna blow it off. The seat has a real thin film of plastic on here, and where it's loose, I'm gonna peel it off. These seats have a center line, as you can see there, and I just wanna make sure I don't lose that. So I'm gonna put it on the ends real clear where I can see it. You always start in the center. On just about anything you work on, it seems like, you start in the center and you work out. I know for a fact that Max is built for comfort. So what I'm gonna do is give him a little cush here on the top. This is 1/4 inch headliner. This is the kind of glue I'm using, and I always use for upholstery work. Just a cheap A-double Snakes paint sprayer. I'm pressing it down in here. I don't want to lose his nice little grooves. I really want these lines to be defined, and they look pretty good, but I'm gonna go ahead and cut them with the razor blade. Now when I put the fabric in there, I can give her a good little shove down in the crack. Next, I'm not going to skimp on the glue because that's what's going to keep this thing lasting a long time. I want to make my center line clearly visible again. I mostly need it on the ends, but that is nice to have too, just like that. I'll do both sides. The widest part of this seat is going to have to be 34 inches wide for the fabric. That leaves me a little extra. So I'm going to cut this fabric this direction 34 inches, and it has to be long enough for both pieces. That way I can use a center line and a center line on the fabric so that it matches the top and the bottom. I want to mark this spot just so I know how they go back together. Things have just gotten quite serious all of a sudden. I just noticed that this fabric will not stretch and roll around the corners nice, so I'm not going to be able to just glue it on. I'm going to have to cut out patterns, sew it up, and then glue it on. I was not anticipating this. I don't even know if I should keep going with the video. We're getting ready to get in some deep work here. Well, I have certainly opened a can of worms. I'm going to see if I can make a pattern. I'll use this plastic. That's all I know to do at this point. Try not to put too much glue on there so I wouldn't ruin my pattern. I think this plastic's a little thin for what I'm doing. Cut up some fabric. This is kind of a test piece. I'm going to sew it together and see what it looks like and how it fits. All sewed up, and all this is just kind of a quick test fit to see if it's going to work out. And the first time I put it on, it didn't fit quite right, and then I trimmed it up a little bit here, and now it's looking like it will work. I know it's not perfect right now, but it doesn't have to be. This is just, like I said, kind of a test to see if my pattern's going to work out, and I think it will. Here are all of the pieces ready to get sewn together. I'm going to sew these two first, then I'm going to see how it fits and cut that to size the very back. Then I'm going to sew this up. The boxing seems to fit pretty good. Now I've got to line up this top, and I'm using the center line, and I mark the middle of that, front and back. And remember, before I decide where this goes, we got to tuck these edges in because they're going to be glued down. Now I'm going to mark this all the way around, notch it or mark it or something so that I have a guide when I'm sewing, and we'll sew it up. That glue was drying quick, and it was nerve-wracking, man, but we managed. I'm going to trim off the excess now. It wasn't stapled before, but I did staple it because it fits all in a bracket. You'll never see that. And I thought just to help make sure it stays secure, which I put plenty of glue on it. So it should anyways, but better be safe than sorry. Done with the bottom. This is the finished product. It's all glued down, stapled, and looking good. Now time for the top. Let me show you something about that. I found this interesting. This is the pattern that I made and used, the rough piece that I screwed up kind of. For the bottom, this is the back. Check this out. Flip, flop, and it's almost nearly the same. Not quite, but that's interesting. Only 3 pieces for the back. I'll sew them up and we'll see what it looks like. Not my favorite part, but here we go. I have my steamer ready to go this time. I should have had it the first time. I think if I get into trouble, I can use that to get out of it. The glue situation can get out of hand quickly. Stay calm and work it out. I'm talking to myself, not you people. Joking on that. Let's see. Get it. This is where I'm gonna try the steamer and see what happens here. See if we can loosen things up just a bit so I can move them around where they need to be. Boy, that is, there we go. Woohoo, see there? That's nice. Hey, now that's working really good. That just, now I don't know, boy. Now that worked good. There's a tip for you. Look at that, that just slicked it out. Happy with that. I'll use it back here too. I think you guys get the general idea what's going on here. I'm gonna turn that camera off. Be honest with you, the camera makes me nervous. I'm trying to do something like this. So you see what you gotta do, and it sucks, but you gotta do it. I'll show you the end result. The finished product, I'm not 100% happy with this seat, but I think it came out all right. There are some imperfections, but I think it'll do. Luckily, this is for a good friend of mine, so I believe he'll be happy with it. You relaxing under that shade tree? We have work to do.
I'm cooling off after plowing the garden.
You've been plowing the garden?
Yep.
We'll put it in the tractor and see what it looks like,
They just
right?
had the originals just stretched over this and
Yep, glued on.
glued on. Those seams in there make it look a lot better, really.
Well, this is how you garden right here. Look how clean that is. Clean and green.
Look there, I got a red tomato.
Red tomato. Yep. Orange. What kind of tractor is this going in? I told him it was 100 horsepower, I thought, but I couldn't remember the number.
It's a John Deere 6220.
How many horsepower is that?
It's about 85.
85.
Yeah. I'm gonna put the back in first, so I won't have to be getting on it with my knees.
Well, you got stuffed up there in the wiper motor. It looks like a bag or something.
That's to keep the birds from building a nest up there.
Oh, keep the birds out.
15 years, all of them fall out.
Max is talking about the headliners. I just now realized something. These two divots on the top of the seat is made for a headrest, isn't it? And they possibly...
Probably is, and...
but they don't put them in the tractors.
No.
Have you ever seen one with a headrest? I don't think
No,
I
I
had.
haven't.
No.
Yes, that is great.
It is.
Yes, sir.
You happy with that seat?
Yeah.
All right.
Looks just like John Deere would have did it.
Oh, is that right? Hopefully it'll last longer.
And they, yeah, they wouldn't, probably wouldn't have matched the interior near as good.
I like that material, and I don't know. We got to see what people say about it on the in the comments. I wish everybody would comment here on that material color, because the women, I was telling Max, the women do not like the material. So you guys tell me what you think about it, right, Max? What do you think?
It's great.
I think it looks...
The workmanship is outstanding.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to hear it. Well, there it is. There's the seat, and we're done.